I thought we showcased our depth on our roster for sure, and that's what I told the guys. I wanted us to get out early, get position, and really just be tough in the middle laps and see what we had. It's our first time running 10K this season, and William has proven to be quite the talent. He's still undefeated and winning the South Central region. I think he's definitely a contestant to be a national champion come here in a few weeks. And he just showed a lot of composure, a lot of patience, especially running 10K on grass. You can get a little antsy, and yeah, he's great. And then I think the rest of our roster did great. Harry Lorador showed up for us big time. That's the first time we've seen some life out of him this season, so it's good to see him really come around and finish in the top 10. Again, I think he's about where he was last year at this time when he was 18th in the nation. Rest of our roster, Enrico, Louis Moreau hung in there really tough for us. He was hurting really, really early, probably about 2K in. He wasn't looking great, and for him to be able to get all region and for us to have 5 guys that are all region, I think we really have a shot to have 5 guys that can be All-American. And if we do that, we have a chance to podium, right, which is something the school's never done, and I think that's a big leap forward for us.
On the women's side, you guys get the 4th place position in the just second here, so what were your thoughts on the ladies?
Great as well. I mean, the ladies' race was much closer. The live results were not working great, so there was about a 30-minute window after the race full of just of anxiety and waiting for the results. And I thought we were anywhere from 4th to 6th, just eyeballing it. But you can be off, you can miss somebody, things get hectic, especially when the points are that close. And so when it came in and we were 4th, and man, we were almost 3rd. We're right there with Western, who has been a very, very dominant team when it comes to distance running in Division II. I just thought was really great. Eleonora made a move with about 2K left to try to take the lead, and she took it. And Brianna Robles from Adams, she's a national champion on the track. She is, she's not a scrub. She's very, very elite. And so for Elle to challenge her like that, and to Elle not even really be considered a cross-country runner, I think showed a lot of courage. Elise Lavelle, she showed up good for us. She was 18th in the nation last year. She's rounding into fitness. Betty Bajica, Olivia McLean, Raquel Chavez, Lexi Mull, all those girls run really well. And I think our 5, 6, 7 was very promising to me. We all crossed within a few seconds, and it's a simple metric, but it's one that's you have to be really good at. It's just the shorter the time from 1 to 5, or even 1 to 7, that's better to have that depth, the better those teams do at the national meets. And I thought we did a really, really good job of that in this region.
When do the at-large weights come out?
It'll come out today at 4. Yeah. I'm about 99% sure the women are in. Yeah. I mean, just to give you some historical reference, last year they took 5 at-large on the women's side from our region. So they took as far back as 8th. There's talk this year of them taking as far back as 9th on the women's side. So, yeah, I'm about 99.9% sure that the women are in.
So with that being said, how will both teams go? What do you feel like you guys have to do to go down and compete for national title?
Yeah. I mean, obviously having a few low sticks is always helpful with the national meets, and it can really separate you from some of those teams that are just, 30 seconds, 1 to 5. I think if Eleanor could be top 3, Sarah sticks it in's top 10, and then Elise is top 20 like she was last year. Like, that's a really good front on the women's side. And then Betty Bajica was 60th last year. If she could sneak in there and get All-American status, you just need a 5 that's under 100, right? And I think you could definitely be a podium team with that, top 3 or 4. And the men, very similar. William, let's say William ends up winning it. He ends up being a real low stick. We have 2 more in the top 20. And then the rest of the roster, in the top 40, you could be 2nd or 3rd with that, right? And those are talks that we're having. You got to be a little strategic in Joplin. Just with getting position early, the course narrows fairly quickly, and then there's a lot of switchbacks. You don't have a lot of room to move. So I know 10K is a long time, right? You have 30 minutes to try to move, but just the way the course is structured, getting out that first mile is very, very critical. So that's something we'll talk about all week. That's something we'll practice. But yeah, I think everybody knows what we're capable of, and we talk about that almost on a daily basis.
How do you spend the next 2 weeks before heading up to Missouri, just with the runners? And how do you kind of maybe adjust what their typical workload is as you guys prepare for this big?
Yeah, I think especially at this point of the season, there's not a ton that we can do just to gain fitness. A lot of it is just about feeling good, make sure everybody's rested, they're eating right, hydrating, like really taking the time outside of practice to really absorb what we've been doing. So they'll notice a pretty significant reduction in training load just to get their feet under them a little bit here. And yeah, really no big workouts left. We may do one more hard one, and the rest of it's just kind of feeling good, making sure that we have some life in us.